Are you looking for some tips to help with your uneven curl pattern? Today I'm sharing 3 ways to address this common concern. Hi, I'm Delilah from the Holistic Enchilada, and on my channel I share tips, tricks, and resources to help you embrace your curls and keep things simple. You can head over to my blog, holisticenchilada.com, for lots more free resources, or follow me on social media at Holistic Enchilada, where I share more bite-sized tidbits of information and tutorials. Also, don't forget to subscribe to the channel for lots more content on curly hair. So let's talk about having an uneven curl pattern. Right after people asking and complaining about frizz, the second most common concern that people come to me with is an uneven curl pattern. Whether it's having multiple curl patterns or having areas that are just looser than others, like a straight area on top or something like that. This is one of the most common concerns that people reach out to me, and they are asking for a solution. How can I fix this problem? So today I'm going to share 3 different ways we can address this very common concern, but I do want to talk about expectations first, because the first thing I want you to know, if you have this concern and you're like, how can I fix my uneven curl pattern? It's probably not something you can fix. There's a couple ways to enhance the areas that are not exactly cooperating, but there's no way to really create a uniform curl pattern all over your hair, because that's not natural. So it is very normal to have multiple curl patterns and have straight areas. Everybody has this. Nobody has curly hair that has the same exact curl pattern all over, where the curls all curl from the root to tip and they're so uniform and perfect. It just doesn't exist. If you see that, it's a picture of somebody that used a curling iron, or it's photoshopped or something. It's just not natural for textured hair to be that way, whether it's wavy or curly. So make sure that you don't have an unrealistic expectation of what your hair should look like. So what I tend to see, and this is like what was the case with me, is a lot of people will have a looser kind of curl type on the top area. The top layer is like more stretched out and straighter, whereas the underlayer will be curlier. And this is usually because the top is more damaged than the underside, just naturally, because this is exposed to more, so it just gets more damaged over time. And that's probably something that's not really going to change. I mean, if you're at the beginning of your curly hair journey and you've got a lot of damage to overcome, yeah, it's going to improve. But if you've been doing this for a while, your hair's not really damaged, that's probably just the natural curl pattern that you have in that area, and there's not much you can do to change that unless you go get a perm or something like that. Some people will have a straighter underlayer, and this happens to me because the inside tends to pull on my shirt as days go by, so this part will straighten out, and a lot of these back pieces, as you can see, are like a lot looser in the top, and they still have like the curl at the end because this part's not getting pulled. So that's normal, and that's what happens here. You can see this piece. I washed my hair a couple of days ago. I think this is day 3 or 4. This was definitely curlier. It had like the lift here, it was curling from up, but as the days go on, it straightens out here, and I still have the curl at the end. It's normal. It's what happens. So every day after your wash day, your hair changes and it looks different. And so it's, again, not realistic to expect that your hair is going to look exactly the same every day after wash day, or every wash day. You're not going to get the same results. It's just not normal. Have realistic expectations. I feel like I say this a lot and people still struggle with this. One thing you can do is one day just be like a little more aware of your judgments of other people's hair. So let's say you're walking around the store and you notice other people with curly hair. What are your thoughts? You're probably not analyzing every little detail about that person's hair and thinking, oh, look at that uneven curl pattern they have. Look at all the frizz they have. Oh, like whatever it is, you know, insert that you complain about your own hair. You're probably not noticing that on other people. So remember, we're most critical of ourselves. We're looking at our hair all the time more than anybody else. We know our problem areas, so we tend to obsess about them and just be overly critical. Nobody else is noticing that stuff, I promise. Unless your hair is like a big puff frizz ball, nobody notices. So stress less about the things you cannot change, and don't have unrealistic expectations. That's like the first little thing I want to talk about before I get into your 3 ways to address having an uneven curl pattern. Okay, so now that I got that out of the way, the first thing you can do is absolutely nothing. You probably weren't expecting that and you may get mad, but it is easiest and most freeing to just let it go and let your hair be in its natural state. This is what I do just because I cannot be bothered with extra techniques and steps and products in my routine. I just don't care that much. My hair looks fine. It could look better if I did certain things to the areas that are flatter and frizzier and all that stuff. I just don't care. Like, I care more about other things. That's me personally. If you are not there and you're like, I'm sorry, I hear you, Delilah, but I care. I need to do something about this area. Okay, second option, these are things that are minimal effort, not gonna take a lot of time, and can help a little bit. So on the areas that you are not happy with, let's say they're a looser curl pattern, or there's just like uneven, you want things to be a little more uniform, you can try using a curl enhancer / curl activator. I have a video on that. Make sure you watch it so that you can choose one that works for you, because there are many different types of curl enhancers, and some are more moisturizing than others, and some provide hold and others don't. And some are 2-in-1 products, like a gel that's also curl enhancing, which I suggest because it's not an extra step in your routine. So check that out. That's going to help enhance your curl pattern. So if you've got some looser areas, it could help with that. And then use a hard hold gel, because this is going to hold the style that you create. So take a little bit of time applying your product so that you get even distribution, scrunching it in. If you need to use a brush to distribute the product, take that extra step to do it. It's only going to take an extra couple of minutes, if that long. And this way you have an even application, the product is all over. Use a hard hold gel and set it. So diffusing is going to help you set your style much longer than air drying. Now, I know not everybody can diffuse. Some people get frizz from diffusing, or they just don't like their results. You can try diffusing for just a few minutes, just to set it and let it air dry the rest of the way, so you don't have to diffuse all the way. If diffusing just absolutely doesn't work for you, then toss that one out and try the other things. One thing I do want to note is a hard hold gel doesn't mean that the way your hair looks when it's wet and in a cast is the way it's gonna look 10 hours after you've scrunched out the crunch. That's not how it works. A hard hold gel holds the curl clump together, and it can hold the curl pattern for longer than if you didn't use anything. That doesn't mean it's going to hold for 3 days or 1 whole day. It just means it holds longer than if you didn't use any product. And it's your best bet because it's the hardest holding or longest holding type of styling product. So again, that goes with your realistic expectations. Just because you're using a hard hold gel doesn't mean that your style is gonna look exactly the same for 2 days. It's not happening. So you might get really nice shrinkage and have like these beautiful ringlets, and then you scrunch out the crunch, and then you see that it's like looser and flatter. That's totally normal, and that's just your natural curl pattern. So what you're seeing with the cast is not what your hair isn't like, not your hair's potential. That's like fake, because the cast is like stiff and hard, and once you remove that, that's your natural hair falling into where it normally falls. So that's what your hair is supposed to look like. Forget about the whole crunchy hair, that look. That's not what it's supposed to look like. And I think this is something that some people don't realize, so they are like, I scrunched it out and now like my curls fell flat. That's what's happening. Okay, another thing you can do is if you've got, let's say, like for me, this side tends to be problematic. Like under here, I tend to get a lot of frizz. I refreshed it yesterday, so I put extra product, so it's really not bad. But this part tends to frizz up and not really curl very well, and it's kind of flat. So what I could do is I could just flip my part to this side, and then I would have like the good curls covering the bad curls, and this part's fine. I don't really care about that, so I just let it be. But that's what you could do. You could flip your part to cover the area that you don't like to see, and then you don't have to look at it, you don't have to worry about it anymore. So those are your low effort options. Option 3 is gonna be maximum effort. These are gonna take the longest time. It's gonna require extra steps, products, that kind of thing. This is where manipulation comes into play. You're using a brush to style each individual curl clump. You are using finger coiling styling methods for each individual curl clump. You are possibly even trying curl training. Now, everything that I've looked into curl training says that that's not really a thing. Curl training doesn't make a difference. Some people swear by it. You can try it and see if it does anything. I don't see how it could possibly do anything, just scientifically speaking, looking at how it works and how hair works. I don't see how curl training would change your curl pattern over time. It just seems impossible. But you can give it a try. If you don't know what I'm talking about, curl training is when you like deep condition and do treatments and you like finger coil the clumps in the direction that you want them to be. And like it's supposed to, the whole theory is it gives your hair like curl memory. So over time of doing this, your hair remembers the curl pattern that you're putting it in. So you can give that a try. That's like a very long-term effort there. But I think that finger coiling or brush styling are probably good, and you don't have to do like your whole head. You can just do the area that is not cooperating. So if there's a part that's very visible that has an uneven pattern, just focus on that area and don't do anything else. Or you could just do like the top layer, the layer on your face, whatever it is that you're looking at, just so it can make you feel a little better, so you don't have to spend an hour curling every single clump on your head. Yeah, so basically maximum effort is going to be manipulation of the curls. And this is in addition to doing the hard hold gel and the curl enhancer. So you would be doing the level 2 stuff that I talked about and adding in some manipulation with like a finger coiling or brush styling, that type of thing. If that fits with your routine, you want to give it a try, go ahead. If you think that's too much to fuss, then don't even bother. If it's unsustainable, you're gonna have to learn to accept your uneven curl pattern. That's normal because everybody has it. Like I could do a whole video talking about unrealistic expectations people have about curly hair. It's very upsetting. Tell me in the comments, do you embrace your uneven curl pattern or do you try to change them? Let me know. And then let me know if you've got any other tips or tricks as far as uneven curl pattern, anything you've tried that's worked. You can share that in the comments as well with everybody. All right, thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please hit that like and subscribe button, and I will see you in the next video.